Hi, this is the makeup class for the October PCEP Skills, Motor Vehicle Scene Management. The class objectives are to review and let everybody know that there's a motor MVA scene management SOP. We're going to go over the communications order model, the communications initial radio report, the communications of task location and objective for receiving and giving assignments, the communications of routine radio traffic, the communications of priority radio traffic, the communications of command transfers, and the review of the spinal immobilization algorithm. Vancouver Fire Department has a standard operating procedure for motor vehicle scene management. Its effective date is June 3rd, 2014. There's some associated skill sheets that give direction for the standard operating procedure. It's intended to provide a process for safely organizing and managing motor vehicle accidents. The standard operating procedure should be reviewed on your own as a piece of this class that is important to understand and be made aware of. The MVA scene management policy is a blend of the Traffic Incident Management System, a federal program for first responder safety at motor vehicle accidents, and the Blue Card Incident Command System. So it's the principles of TIMS meshed with the Blue Card communications model, all put together as a standard operating procedure for handling motor vehicle accidents inside the Vancouver Fire Department and, in fact, all of Clark County. This program is being delivered countywide. It's approved by the fire chiefs countywide. And so it's something that we want to be consistent and predictable in our actions at motor vehicle accidents. So the first thing we need to talk about is the order model. And the order model is a blue card term, and it gives rules for talking on the radio. And so it's simple. It starts with, "Hey, you, it's me." For example, Ops 51, Engine 1. And of course, we'd say, go ahead, Engine 1. Engine 1's on the scene of 2-car MVA, southbound I-5 and lane 1. Engine 1's initiating MVA ops. Engine 1 is I-5 command. So it gets you off on the right foot. The order model does two things for you, at least in the context of clearing the alarm. Same model that's used for the fire template. It ensures that you're on the correct operating frequency. And the other thing is it lets the dispatcher know that you're about to give your initial radio report. So the initial radio report, there is a skill sheet for that. Just the same as on the fire side, there's a template for the initial radio report, which is, of course, the small one-story house with a working fire. It's a number of vehicles, location on roadway, direction of travel, and the name of the road. So again, that example, 2-car MVA in lane 1 of southbound traffic on I-5. You're to stay within the communications model when given the initial radio report. So that's how you do it, basically. Assignments are given under the task location and objective model. Assume and name command. Determine your resources. This is done by the triage of the firefighter initially on scene on the first arriving apparatus. And then you plug in any follow-up reports, the same as you do on the fire communications model. So that's your opportunity to announce safety hazards and other factors that may be important to the incident action plan and other responding units that are coming into the scene. It may be as simple as directions to the next incoming unit on how to complete the block of the scene, to create the shadow, the safe place to work in. Then you assign units by tactical priorities, and you know your tactical priorities because the firefighter who went out and did triage has reported them back to you. And we use that's reported back in that crash format. If you do a face-to-face communications on the initial triage, that's fine. Just make sure that you announce what your crash information is on the operating frequency so the other responders to the scene will know that. It'll be important also, you'll see when we do a command transfer. So initial radio report, we have an example of that, and we're going to play that for you.
51, engine 10.
51, go ahead.
Engine 10 is on scene, 2-car MVA, off the side of the road, northbound on 164th Avenue. MVA ops are being initiated. Engine 10 will be 164th Command. All ambulances, level 1 stage, and wait for assignment. All companies on Ops 51 emergency traffic. We have power lines down on the east side of the scene. Okay.
Ops 51 received. Engine 10 is on the scene of a 2-car MVA, side of the road, northbound 164th. MVA ops are being initiated. Engine 10 is 164th Command. All ambulances, level 1 stage, wait for assignment. Safety hazard, there is a down power line.
Alright, Eva, I need you to set up cones in the transition area for traffic control.
Copy that. Code for traffic control.
And Kobe, go to the inner circle, identify the number and severity of patients and any extrication needs.
I'll do the inner circle, identify the number and severity of patients and the extrication. Hey, wait there, there's power line down.
I think my buddy's really hurt.
Okay. Are you okay?
I think so.
All right, stay right here.
Okay.
Alright. Alright, I'm gonna have you walk back to the engine.
Okay.
Command, this is firefighter Robin M.
Command, go ahead.
Vehicle 1 is a black hatchback. We have one non-critical. I step back to the engine, and we have one critical patient. Driver's side, no extrication, no stabilization. Power lines are to the right of the vehicle. Moving on to vehicle 2. Command, this is firefighter Robin M.
Command, go ahead.
Vehicle 1 is a black hatchback. We have one non-critical. I step back to the engine, and we have one critical patient. Driver's side, no extrication, no stabilization. Power lines are to the right of the vehicle. Moving on to vehicle 2.
Command copies. You have car number 1 is a black car. You have one critical patient, one non-critical, and you have the power lines down, no additional hazards.
That's affirmative.
Hey, you okay?
Command, firefighter Robin M.
Command, go ahead.
Vehicle 2 is a red truck. We have two critical patients, both in the front, driver and front passenger seat. Looks like the front passenger is going to need some extrication. It's going to be on the power line side of the vehicle. And we'll also need stabilization on the hose line. Triage is complete.
Red truck, you have two critical patients and extrication stabilization needed. And I copy that. Crash reporting.
Command for firefighter Robin M.
Command, go ahead.
Vehicle 2 is a red truck. We have two critical patients, both in the front, driver and front passenger seat. Looks like the front passenger is going to need some extrication. It's going to be on the power line side of the vehicle. And we'll also need stabilization on the hose line. Triage is complete.
Command copies. Vehicle number 2 is a red truck. You have 2 critical patients and extrication and stabilization needed. And I copy that. Crash report is complete. Brake. Engine 10 pump. Command.
Command, engine 10 pump.
Can you stretch a hose line for extrication to the red truck?
Copy that.
Officer 51, 164 command.
51, go ahead, 164th command.
We need 1 additional truck, 1 additional engine, a battalion chief, and 2 additional ambulances. Notify PUD of down power lines. All incoming fire units, level 1 stage, and all ambulances positioned along the shadow, north of the scene.
You want to receive, you want 1 additional truck, 1 additional engine, battalion chief, and 2 additional ambulances. We'll notify PUD of the down power line. All incoming fire units, level 1 stage, all ambulances positioned along in the shadow north of the scene. Command, firefighter Revenant.
Command, go ahead.
Quick update, vehicles are in park, parking brakes set, keys are in the ignition. We do have 3 critical, I've got 1 sitting here on the ground, it's ready to go, we have an ambulance.
Command copies. 3 critical. You have the cars and parking secure.
And then we got some sets and reps. And these first slides are sets and reps. So again, remember to use the template, right? So let's say this is Clark Road. So I'm the first arriving unit here. And it's Ops 51, Engine 1. Go ahead, Engine 1. Engine 1's on the scene of a 2-car MVA northbound on Clark Road, blocking both lanes. Engine 1 is initiating MVA ops. Engine 1 is Clark Road Command. Then, of course, there's room there for the follow-up report and the initial triage. Okay, this one, we're westbound on SR-14, Engine 3. Ops 51, Engine 3. Go ahead, Engine 3. Engine 3 is on the scene of a 3-car MVA blocking lanes 1 and 2 of westbound SR-14. Engine 3 is initiating MVA ops. Engine 3 is SR-14 command. Here's another one, Main Street downtown. You're heading north from Station 1. Ops 51, Engine 1. Go ahead, Engine 1. Engine 1's on the scene of a 2-car head-on motor vehicle accident blocking the northbound lanes of Main Street. Engine 1's initiating MVA ops. Engine 1's Main Street command. Last example. This is at 4th Plane eastbound at 117th Avenue, or Highway 503. You're Engine 6. You're heading eastbound down 4th Plane. Ops 51, Engine 6. Go ahead, Engine 6. Engine 6 is on the scene of a 3-car rear-end accident blocking lane 2 of eastbound 4th Plane, State Route 503. Engine 6 initiating MVA ops. Engine 6 is 4th Plane Command. You get and receive assignments using the task location and objective model. This takes a little bit of practice, especially naming your objective. So here's an example. Park in a blocking position, go to the red sedan, extricate the patients for transport. Task location objective. Pull a line to the smoking vehicle to extinguish the fire. Triage. Lane 2 of northbound Hizadale Avenue. Give me a CAN report. CAN reports in that context, you use the CRASH acronym to plug in the information. Okay, put a little mental energy into the task location and objectives way to get and receive assignments. This is a model that we're using from the fire side as well, so get used to it. Okay, here's some examples here. You're on scene, you're ready to triage, and you want Truck 5 to basically provide stabilization to that vehicle. Truck 5, Engine 1. Go ahead, Engine 1. Truck 5, I want you to bring up your crews and stabilization equipment, come to the overturned vehicle, provide stabilization. You want to extricate the patient out of that purple sedan. Engine 5, engine 1. Go ahead, engine 1. I want you to come over to the purple sedan with your crew, extricate the patient, and prepare for transport. Let's say you just want to secure the vehicles for hazards. Truck 1, Clark Road Command. Go ahead, Clark Road Command. Get your crew and tools, go to the vehicles, the gray sedans, and secure vehicles from safety hazards. Okay, you get the idea. Here's this one. Triage, lane 3 of northbound Hazeltine Avenue, and give me a CAN report. Last, come up to the scene, secure the vehicle, and check for structural integrity of the garage. Okay, routine radio traffic. Again, this is a blue card term, same rules of talking on the radios on the fire ground. So let's just keep it simple. Radio silence once assigned to the scene, all right? Communications are driven by the IC, so these are general rules of the road for the radio. Use the order model, and no good news reporting. Basically, there's 2 reasons why, if you're a task level person, whether this is the firefighter or the captain that has an assignment, you've been given a task location and an objective, and you're done with it. You notify command by that by saying, with a status change. This is radio traffic that is initiated by the task level supervisor. So this is one of 2 ways that you initiate radio traffic at emergency scenes, all right? So status change, basically you've completed your assignment and you're ready for another one to get back into the game, right? Or priority radio traffic. Priority radio traffic does exactly what it says, gives you radio priority. It's used for red flag info only, and it gives this sender, the task level person, permission to break into the order model. Generally speaking, this is important tactical information that will require adjustments to the current incident action plan. Usually it's bad news, which makes sense, right? And so you do it the same way, command engine 1 with priority traffic. It's important to say whether you have priority traffic versus a status change, because this prioritizes communications coming into the command post on the potential that one unit's got a status change, another unit's got priority radio traffic. The incident commander is going to go to the unit with priority radio traffic first. That radio traffic affects the incident action plan. All right, so it's simple. Situations that require priority traffic: unable to complete an assigned task or tactical objective, urgent need to be reinforced or backed up to complete an assigned task or tactical objective. Same rules that are at the fire scene, essentially. You need help to finish your task. You don't have the correct tools. You need more people. One that's thrown in here is critical patients are encountered. So that's priority traffic, because that's going to affect the initial incident action plan. For every critical patient, we need to assign a crew to it, right? And we need a ambulance specific for that one patient to either to be assigned or to be called for to come to the scene. So remember, the crash report, everybody knows, because we played around with this one for a while now, but basically you're identifying the vehicle that you're talking about. It's the resources needed. So does it need advanced extrication or stabilization? Does it need a crew assigned to it to either stabilize it or extricate somebody from out of it, specifically? And then critical patients. Critical patients need an entire crew assigned to a critical patient to be able to manage that patient. And then safety hazards. Safety hazards should be announced on the operating frequency. So if communications are done face-to-face, safety hazards should be repeated so all responders on scene hear them. Okay, that's an important point. And then anytime the IC directs you to contact him or her immediately after obtaining a specified piece of information. And now an example of that is you've been told to triage and come back with a CAN report. So that gives you permission to break in as soon as you have that information, because that affects the IAP, right? So you're gathering information so we can know our resources that we need to call to the scene. So you've got permission to break into the order model if you're given that type of assignment right away. And then command transfers. Command will be transferred at these motor vehicle accidents. These are significant motor vehicle accidents. The same way the command is transferred at a fire scene. And how that sounds is like this. BC arrives on scene. So Officer 21, Battalion 1. Battalion 1's on scene. Battalion Chief's going to go directly to command next. Command, Battalion 1. Go ahead, Battalion 1. I copy that we've got a 3-car MVA. We've got Truck 5 and Engine 3 on scene. In Medic 16.4, we got 2 critical patients, 1 non-critical. Is that correct? And can I have a CAN report? So that's an example of the communication that might take place. That's correct, Battalion 1. We have need for 2 additional ambulances here on scene. Okay, I got it from over here. Ops 51, Battalion 1. Go ahead, Battalion 1. Battalion 1's taking SR-14 command. I want you to dispatch 2 additional ambulances, 1 additional fire unit. And so then, same as occurs at fire scenes, the battalion chief will take command. They'll either hold the current assignment, that means everybody stays placed, they'll reduce the current assignment, or they will enlarge it based upon needs that are reported at the scene, right? And so then that gives the battalion chief the chance to become a strong incident commander at these motor vehicle accidents. They've got all the information and they can take it from there, and they're just doing resources, fire resources, transport resources. If a supervisor from AMR were to come to the scene, and they're supposed to, they try to come to anything more than 2 to 3 ambulance responses. They'll try to come to the scene to get those their resources there and to provide logistical support. We're asking them to go to the command post to sit in the same BC rig with now the incident commander. So that way these resources called to the scene are being coordinated through command. Something I didn't talk about, and this is a TEMS principle. So we're talking about the work it MVAs versus the move it MVA. So move it MVA, just as a refresher, was the minor motor vehicle accident. It's typically non-blocking. You may have 0 patients or minor patients or maybe patients that need refusals. Or if it is blocking, the vehicles aren't damaged in such a way that they can't be moved out of the way. So essentially move it to a safe place to work it. And then you've got the work it MVA. Work it MVAs are blocking. Usually there's patients. Patients are going to be transported to the hospital. And you need to create the safe work zone to be in, right? And that is the engine's blocked appropriately. Ambulance units are directed long into the shadow typically. Additional units coming to the scene completes the block. We have the cones set out to create a taper. We try to start managing traffic flow. We try to slow down traffic. Create essentially as safe of a work environment as we can out on the highway, knowing that ultimately we can't make it 100% safe. Another TEMS principle is that set up rapidly but completely, call enough resources early to the scene so you're not out there by yourself trying to manage more than you can handle, and essentially overall is to get off the scene more rapidly. So basically it decreases the length of time that you're in the hazard zone. I guess the last piece, working in the hazard zone requires standard operating procedures, which working at the scene of a work at motor vehicle accident is in the hazard zone. Definition of that is you can be hurt or in that area. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. And by state law, those require standard operating procedures. So this is what we're doing, for these work it MVAs. Last, we got the spinal immobilization algorithm. And the reason why this is in there is because there's been some liberal use of the selective spinal immobilization algorithm. So as a refresher, remember that the context of the selective spinal immobilization was a geriatric patient, ground level fall, who you were doing full spinal precautions as a means of caution, but there really were no indicators that there was anything disrupted in their spinal column. It gave you an opportunity to weigh the downside of being on a backboard for 2 to 3 hours waiting to have their C-spine cleared at the hospital by typically some form of radiography, versus the unlikely chance that they had a C-spine disruption deal. But remember, the algorithm requires patient mentation to be to a point where, they can answer questions appropriate, essentially. So you can't cherry pick through the algorithm. So the patient mentation's first. There cannot be any decreased LOC. There can't be alcohol or drug ingestion involved that's creating a LOC problem. And there can't be any loss of consciousness involved. And then it goes to subjective assessment. And remember that subjective assessment is what they tell you, right? So are they reporting pain to you, basically, or reporting numbness, tingling, burning, or weakness? Okay, in the absence of that, what's your objective assessment? And that's the hands-on touching of cervical thoracic lumbar. Is there any deformity or tenderness? Do they have a severe distracting injury, like, a femur fracture or other long bone fracture, or, significant cut or something like that, that pain center is overwhelming the pain center that maybe, the pain that could be, generated from the something in the back there. Do they have pain with cervical range of motion, which is the last check, not the first check? All right. Other things that have occurred is a trauma system entry. You are given the ability to put somebody on a backboard or on the gurney just wearing a seat collar who's a trauma system entry or trauma alert, but that should not be your default, right? That's for cause. Like when you laid them supine, they had increased respiratory difficulty because maybe they got a flail chest or something like that. So generally speaking, people that are trauma alerts, trauma entries, those people should be full spinal precautions. You're given the latitude to do selective spinal mobilization. Just make sure you're doing it for the right reason. Don't do it out of laziness. All right, so the next part of the class, we're going to give you an orientation to what we're doing outside, which is going to be this hands-on drill. I'm going to show it here on the map here briefly. And then I'm going to show you a video of the outside exercise and radio communications that are associated with that. Okay, so prior to the outside exercise, we just wanted to orient everybody to the motor vehicle accident and what we were trying to accomplish. And so here on the map, we've got a 3-car motor vehicle accident. It's on a divided highway, and these vehicles are headed westbound, and we can just say it's SR14. And what you have is a 3-car accident. One car's flipped on its side, right? And then 2 other cars that have veered off, both on the wheels, but with significantly hurt patients in both of them off to the side of the road. And so the one vehicle is in lane 3, and I think we should probably talk about this a little bit. So lane orientation. Remember that lane 1 starts from the inside, from the median. So it starts from the left, works to the right, works to the outside. So this is you've got the median, lane 1, lane 2, and then lane 3 on the outside. The staff car is blocking lane 3. You've got the overturned vehicle blocking lane 2. And then the second vehicle on its wheels is on the right-hand shoulder. So the first in company is going to come in, create the block. If they give direction to the next in unit, they're going to ask them to complete the block, which is going to be lane 2 westbound. And box in the incident, they should understand. So when you give directions for a block, try to give it that's why it's important to identify which lanes you're talking about and stuff. It's similar to identifying the Alpha Bravo and Charlie Delta sides of a house. We got to be able to give people an orientation to the scene. So when you tell them to go to a certain location to create the block, they're going to know readily what you're talking about. So direct the next in unit to come and complete the block. Any ambulances pull along of the scene into the shadow. And that's what we've been telling the ambulance crews that have attended this class. Along those lines, ambulance crews have been told to the meaning of level 1 stage is, which is park and stay inside your apparatus to give an assignment. And of course, an identification of what the shadow is, which is inside the block essentially. More often than not, it's long. So that's the motor vehicle accident that we're going to be managing outside. And we're going to go, you'll hear the radio communications and see some videos of what that looked like. Ops 51, Engine 1. Go ahead, Engine 1. Engine 1 is on the scene of a 3-car MVA blocking lanes 2 and 3 of northbound I-5. Engine 1 is initiating MVA ops. Engine 1 is I-5 command. Firefighter. Triage for extrications of patients from car to car and give me a can report. Apparatus operator. Set up cones to create a taper and pull a charge line to the vehicle on its side. Engine 2 is level 1. Engine 2 command. Go ahead, command. Go up to the scene and complete the block of lane 2 of northbound I-5. Engine 2 receive. Go up to the scene and complete the block of lane 2 of northbound I-5. Engine 1 firefighter with a crash report. Go ahead, Engine 1 firefighter. Vehicle number 1 is a white sedan. We got no extrication or stabilization resources needed. We got 1 critical patient. No safety hazards. Moving on to vehicle number 2. Command received. Vehicle number 1 is a white sedan. No resources needed. 1 critical patient. No safety hazards. Command Engine 1 firefighter. Go ahead, Engine 1 firefighter. Vehicle number 2 is the overturned minivan. We need extrication and stabilization resources. We have 2 critical patients, 1 ejected. We got fuel spilling as a safety hazard. Moving on to vehicle number 3. Command receive. Vehicle number 2 is the minivan on its side. We need extrication and stabilization resources. We have 2 critical patients, 1's been ejected. We got fuel spilling on the ground as a safety hazard. Command Engine 1 firefighter. Go ahead, Engine 1 firefighter. Vehicle number 3 is the red truck. We don't need any extrication or stabilization resources. We got 1 non-critical patient, no safety hazards. Triage complete, crash reports complete. Command receive. We have 3 vehicles total. We have 1 that needs extrication and stabilization resources. We have a total of 4 patients. 3 of them are critical. Medic 16-4 is level 1. Medic 16-4, command. Go ahead, command. Medic 16-4, I want you to pull along of the incident into the shadow and prepare to receive patients from fire crews on scene. Medic 16-4, receive. Pull along of the incident into the shadow. Patients will be delivered to the ambulance from fire resources on scene. Engine 2, command. Go ahead, command. Get stabilization equipment. Go to the overturned vehicle, lane 2, and stabilize it for extrication and patient care. Engine 2, receive. Get stabilization equipment. Go to the overturned vehicle, lane 2, and stabilize it for extrications and patient care. Engine 3 is level 1. Engine 3, command. Go ahead, command. Engine 3, I want you to park short of the incident in a blocking position. Go to vehicle number 1, which is the white sedan. Provide patient care and extrication for transport. Engine 3, receive. Park short of the incident in a blocking position. Go to vehicle number 1, which is the white sedan. Provide patient care and extrication for transport. Officer 1, Battalion 1. Go ahead, Battalion 1. Battalion 1's on scene. Command, Battalion 1. Go ahead, Battalion 1. I copy that we've got a 3-car MVA. We've got Engine 1, Engine 2, and Engine 3 on scene, and Medic 16-4. We've got 1 overturned vehicle that needs extrication and stabilization. We got 3 critical patients total, 1 non-critical for 4 patients. Is that correct? Can I have a CAM report? Yes, that is correct. Engine 1 doesn't have any needs. It's Battalion 1. Okay, I got it from here. Officer 1, Battalion 1. Go ahead, Battalion 1. Battalion 1 is assuming I-5 command. We need 3 additional ambulances, 1 additional fire unit dispatched to the scene. Officer 1, receive. Battalion 1's taking I-5 command. 3 additional ambulances and 1 additional fire unit being dispatched to the scene.